Thanks, everyone. Is this good? Okay, good. Good afternoon, everyone. So, as Rob mentioned, we're going to start the whole session with AI. I thought I'll just, take around like 10 minutes just to give a quick introductions and overall view. And I think the most important part, I called it enhancing human expertise. Basically, just because, we need to address the elephant in the room. Every time we hear about AI, basically the first thing we think about is we're going to lose our job, someone's going to take this place, how this is going to... There's still a lot of gap. Now, just for the record, I'm not an AI expert, but within EllisDon, we started this innovation team just to see how we can approach AI from a vision. Where do we need to invest? What does it really mean from our perspective as a construction company and as a PMC company? So today's slide, I will just take you through some of our thoughts. How did we approach such a fear of AI, the challenges, and how we're trying to end up with some kind of a collaboration between AI technology and obviously human intelligence perspective. So obviously we're going to start with the high-level type of intro, but this is extremely important because if you look at the definition of the concept, artificial intelligence, it's a simulation of human intelligence. So I'm always going to stress on the fact that the human aspect is always there, whether from a critical thinking or from setting up a strategy. So for all of those ambiguities about something replacing other, it's not really, it's a complementary exercise. So back to the definition, it's a simulation of a human intelligence using machines and high advanced technology where we will allow the machine to do the repeated tasks. Especially when you have a typically required human intelligence involved in every repeated task where it requires a lot of time and a lot of efficiency. So that human interface, this is key, and this is actually which is going to drive our approach to AI and AI implementations. So we'll start with the obvious questions. We had these questions in-house in the company, and I believe everyone is having the same question. So I've highlighted 5 or 6 of the main items which we have documented, and those will be our basics to start our journey and mitigation exercise. Number 1, job security, as I mentioned. Once AI is there, if I need 5 people to do a certain task, now 1 may be enough. Or if we have a new division or a new skill needed to that specific team, an AI application might be available actually to replace that. So that's your fear number 1 once you start discussing with the team. Number 2, skill relevance. We're talking about unhuman type of powers, new technologies, high processing type of technology. So basically, you cannot reach that level regardless of the skills, lessons learned, and any expertise that you have concluded. So that's always a challenge, and that's something which is going to affect our career path and might affect our knowledge base approach. Lack of understanding. So AI is a technology. But what does it really mean from where that's going to affect my day-to-day? What applications are required? What are the items where we just have to interface with them? Where's my role in that type of execution of that AI? So that level of understanding, currently, it's not available. Obviously, with a lot of awareness sessions and more discussions like the one we're going to have today, we'll try to, approach such type of lack of understanding of where AI fits in my company, in my culture, and in my business. Ethical implications. That's a key aspect. With open AIs, we're allowing now those servers to take our data, any data, and to process them on their own and start taking decisions on their own without very minimum human interface. So all of those will have an impact on how my data is being secured. How do I have that level of satisfaction that my data is not being manipulated in a certain way where it can give a completely different output? So this is another risk and another challenge. And obviously, potential misuse. We started to see, those photorealistic fake pictures where you can actually, a simple program can create any fake exercise. From a hacking perspective, system can just manipulate with certain data to provide certain security concerns to our information. The list is so long, especially when it comes to concerns. I have almost like 10 minutes. So I'm just going to try to limit it to those. So those, what we even in-house, we started to identify them. And then we started a very open discussion with the whole corporate just to see where to approach. Number 1, we found that the best approach, obviously, it is education and training. This is a technology It's happening, it's there. But what does it really mean for us? So we started to educate ourselves more. What are the available technology? What are the available options? Which specific business units within a company like EllisDon we need to have that level of interface with AI? To what level actually? What kind of data do we need? What kind of information is required? What skill we need to enhance our existing resources? So all of those, they are in a program under education and training. Number 2, employment involvement. So we started a discussion with each business unit alone. So we talked to our planners. What are the current challenges? What is part of your repeated tasks? Where do we see an opportunity where we can automate certain activities which typically you struggle via on a traditional way of analyzing a plan, analyzing a program? What kind of data is available? How do you store it? How do we pick it? So have that level of involvement with the team. It gives the team the level of confidence that this is a tool which is going to help me on my day-to-day, so that they can invest their skills, their time, and their effort, and then we will have a buy-in from the teams. The same thing on a project management, construction management level. So we have started to engaging them rather than having a very high-level approach that this is a new AI tool to replace your work. Let them actually define the tool that they need. Let them define the application that they are interested in. Support and resources. This is where, yes, we started to invest in new resources. We're hiring now data scientists, which is a construction company. Sometimes that's something in like 5 to 6 years you wouldn't even include in your organization chart. Now this is not an option. It is there. Data scientists, data analytics. We need those people actually to educate us. What kind of data do we need? What kind of data which already been using for a number of years and we're not actually utilizing properly? So those are new resources. They can provide that level of support for each business unit. Transparent communication. Yes, this will affect day-to-day life. It's a fact. So we cannot actually, just leave it behind. But once we have that level of transparent communications with the team, they will have their engagement. They will have a skin in the game so that the company will start investing in AI applications for their own use. And I believe last but not least, monitoring and adapting. So yes, we're testing. Some applications are working well. Some applications are not. Monitoring is a key aspect because this will tell us, this will give us kind of like a business cases to improve our lessons learned from what worked and what didn't work. Where do we need to change our strategy? And then every single success story, this will go into a full adoption on the overall company. Obviously, this is a long journey, but basically those are the 5 main items we started to implement. I have some high-level type of, test cases if you want. So EllisDon is a PMC, obviously. So from a project management perspective, we've already been doing certain repetitive tasks on every single project we've been given with a certain extent. So we started actually dividing them on those specific business units. And each business units now, we started to engage in what is your current process, even with the new innovative technology which we currently have, but how can we take this to the next level? What is your ultimate wish list? Just dream. And then we start actually taking that with our data scientists to understand to what extent some of those applications are feasible, applicable, and add real value. So business unit by business unit, this is a key element. Data actually, apparently, it is the most important aspect in any discussion, AI discussion. So we can have the right platform, we can have the right business plan for an AI implementation. If we don't have the right data, if we don't know which specific data we need to pull, if we don't know how to manipulate this data, how to store it, how to analyze it in a certain extent, all discussions with AI are not going to work. At the end of the day, AI should be able to use the right information to process it properly so that output actually provide a good return of investment. It's the same concept as garbage in, garbage out. AI will have a machine learning models rather than a standard processing information, but this is the starting point. Data is key. So we start with the ended result. If you are a planner, your most important aspect is where is the risk or how you can improve any specific gap. So we started looking into certain baselines and certain programs and doing a backward method just to make sure we've collected the right data and training and testing a machine learning exercise and giving us output. And then we had the humans, our actual senior planners, to audit those outputs and give us the feedback if what we've been doing make sense or no. So this is the cycle actually of the data, the AI, and the human interface. Another aspect, which most probably a number of consultants they started utilizing. In Canada, we're more a design builder. So our engineering teams, they started testing on generative design aspects. With a generative design, you have certain specific type of inputs, which are related to the design intent, related to the site. And basically, you allow the system to do multiple number of simulations. And each simulation, it has a specific type of output, whether quantities, build-up areas, ratios, whatever. But typically, your engineering team will be doing something very similar, but you might need a team to do like 6-7 simulations per week. Now you can do 100 in 1 hour. And then you will have your team focusing on analysis the output so that they can pick the best exercise. Again, if you see, the human interface is there. So there is no replacement of the human, as it is just an added value of a specific tool that they will use into their day-to-day. The last, which is also, we started working on it in our budgeting projects. ChatGPT now can actually create a 3D model in very similar approach like you used to create a text or a PowerPoint or even a picture. So basically you just write down develop a structural building with X amount of floors, X amount of spaces, and then you can get some high level, if you want an LOD 100 type of schematic sketches. Those are important for early feasibility stage, where you're just trying to understand from a very high level business case, your overall ratio of investment versus return of investments, number of unit versus occupied area, space occupation, spaces, facade type of requirements. Again, those tools will specify such an approach. So this is our monitoring and testing. We're testing all of those equipments, we're testing all of those tools. And again, it is a journey. Some of those applications, they're working really well and we started to see the potential. Some of them are not. But we are approaching, and this is our recommendation, is that to approach that exercise from a collaboration perspective. So human AI collaboration, it's an acronym now which is very standard now in the market when it comes to the human interface. This is our basis for moving forward in the next 5 to 6 years with the AI journey. Everything related to creativity, critical thinking, emotional intelligence, ethical judgment, contextual understanding, that's always going to be the experience. That's always going to be the human intelligence. We always have to rely on our seniors, on our teams, people who have skin in the game, people who are, get their nails dirty, people that do the job. Those will always be leading every single aspect related to the critical thinking and the audit. And then we're going to invest in AI where it does all of the heavy lifting for us. Data analysis, pattern recognition, automation, real sites, large database. So we'll have all of those type of very complicated analysis under the AI. And obviously we keep investing in the skills of our resources and experience resources to build that level of collaboration. This is what we saw so far, and this is what we think is the right approach moving forward in any integration. I'm going to end up my session with this slide. As I said, let the AI do the heavy lifting with all of the analytics. Let the AI do all of the modifications and the updates and the tweak, and always let the humans do the final decision. So to go back to the first slide, yes, the concerns are there from an AI perspective, how this is going to affect us. But the approach is not to say that this is replacing my work or this is going to hurt my career path. It's happening. It's a fact. Let's deal with it as an assistant tool, as a complementary type of exercise. I'm going to end up with this statement, and the rest of the sessions which we're going to have today, basically, they will highlight some of those points, and I believe we're going to deep dive more into those aspects.